Hello, this is Maia Williams, and today I will be going over my final project for UX Design Foundations. For this project, I redesigned the website for Lynx Cars. I began by identifying a few examples of what to strive for when creating a good website and a bad website in Unit 1, and that's how I originally found this site. And so afterwards, I began to analyze the problems with Lynx Cars. And the first thing that I noticed was that it was really hectic and bright and just very cluttered and very overwhelming on the first look. So afterwards, I searched for more information about this website, and I found that there were people that were just as confused as I was. And so that's how I began my project. So to start, I created a problem and a hypothesis to work off of for this whole project. And my problem was that the reason why people think that the website is, and I quote, bad, is because of the fact that they struggle to understand and navigate the website Lynx Cars because of how confusing the site was. And for my hypothesis, I wrote that I believe that redesigning the website for Lynx Cars to make it both visually appealing and easier to use will increase its already large online presence and increase the potential buyer's ability to rent a car from the website. And so with those in mind, I began my case study. So in creating this case study, I made it with the purpose of attempting to figure out our users' pain points and how to adjust the site to better fit their needs. And so what I did was I tested 5 individuals with varying experiences using car renting websites, and I basically, what I gave them to do was an unmoderated user test, and afterwards I gave them a follow-up survey from Google Forms. And so here are the results of that. Here are the visualizations, and here are the written results. The common thread that I found, aside from, of course, the issues with the bright colors and crazy patterns on the site, was that there were actually bits of malfunctioning code on the links for the site and lots of useless buttons and extra bits to the site. Aside from that, however, I noticed that something that the users actually enjoyed about the page was the overall retro feel that Lynx page got and how unique it was. I will bring this up in a later part of this presentation, but for now we will discuss how I created the wireframe. So with the information that I had on hand, I created a wireframe which cut out the clutter on the homepage and allowed for users to find what exactly it was that they needed on it just by clicking the links on the homepage. Something that I noticed when looking back on the user's site was that Ling had listed all of her cars from A to Z in a little corner bar on her homepage. So I removed that and I made a car listing page where you could search for your car by type, brand, and mileage, and just the make and the seating arrangements in the car. And so afterwards, I redesigned the page where after you click, so basically after going through the selection, you press on the card and you are taken to another page, and basically this page has all of the information you need. On the original site, however, Link did not give much information about the car. And she did not give extra pictures and details about the car. So I adjusted it so that it could do that. From there, I adjusted the frequently asked questions page so that it could have a search bar to search for the questions that the user may need. And I also readjusted the sign-on page and sign-up page as well. And I also made an option for the user to be able to have a conversation with a live agent through the form of a chatbot on the page, so that they can also find what they need in that way. So from there, I created my design and style guide, which was basically just a mood board. Now, before I mentioned that the users liked the overall retro feel of the page, so I used what they said as a basis for the color palette and just the overall setup of the page. I went through a couple iterations of the design where I basically just swatched a color palette off of vintage cars so that I could use the page. But I found that it was too vibrant, so I scrapped that one, and basically what I did was I found a 60s color palette online and swatched it, and that became the final design for the page. Alongside that, I had many ideas of what I could use for the fonts, and I scrapped those as well, and instead wound up using a few sans serifs. To be specific, I used a font called Bebas Nue, and the size that I used on that one was 30, and I used HK Grotesque, and that was size 15, and I used Oswald for the buttons and for the buttons on the site, and that was in a size 15 as well. And so I went from there. So I redesigned the display page because on the original site they had featured cars for cheaper prices, but they didn't put it in a way that the user could see it. So I basically put in a carousel, and what I did was I basically put all the featured cars on the bottom so that they would be displayed in the carousel. And so the colors and things that you're seeing behind there is another 50s palette that I found. It was a desaturated rainbow, and I changed it so that I could also add in a paisley font, like a paisley graphic like they used in the original site. And I also changed to translucent on there as well so that it wouldn't take away from the cars being displayed. And I did this across the whole site as well so that we could have a ongoing theme from there. You'll see that I did that on the page for cars information, where it's supposed to the pictures. I put that on there, and I also put that in the frequently asked questions as well. And so from there, finally, I made the moonshot, and basically I proposed for my moonshot idea that we could create an app so that they wouldn't have to use Link's Cars website for those who didn't have access to the website. And basically what this app would do was it would take a small survey, and with that survey it would match you with with the car you want in a matter of minutes. And so that was what I proposed for the moonshot. And that was basically the final project that I did aside from this one. So thank you for sitting in, and that's how I redesigned the whole website for Link's Cars.